youth leaders and organizations, political parties, youths against the current, we call it an illegitimate process of amending the Constitution. So we are coming here today to make our stand on this process. And we are saying as youths, we are staking our claim in the direction that the country needs to take. So we have prepared a statement on the reasons why we are against this BBI. So I'll read the statement. A clarion call, that is the headline. Good morning, everyone. Dear Kenyans, as we start this press conference, it cannot be lost on us the weight of the global COVID-19 crisis we are facing the world over. Our hearts goes to those who have lost loved ones in these terrible times, to those whose families have been shattered by the negative economic consequences of the pandemic, and to our gallant frontline health workers, risking it all to keep us safe. We owe you everything, we thank you, and we salute you all. YABC, Youth Against BBI Bridges Initiative Consortium, is a broad-based consortium of youthful leaders and respective organizations that have formed a memorandum of understanding to work together in the push against the constitutional change through the Building Bridges Initiative process. The consortium has 47 coordinators across the 47 counties, with thousands of supporters raring to mobilize towards a no referendum vote. We stand here today to give a strong and firm position of the majority of young people on the BBI and the Constitutional Amendment Bill currently before the county assemblies. Our coming together arose from the realization that for far too long, we young people have been used as pawns in the larger political chess game, even though 75% of Kenya's population consists of young people below the age of 35. Their role in decision-making, both in political and governance levels, have marginally been peripheral, dismissed, and often ignored, but not any longer. Our consortium seeks to correct this sad state of affairs as we declare here today, enough is enough. We are emphatically declaring today that we are taking back our donated power. We are taking our fates, future destiny into our own hands. The social contract that has been egregiously broken by our leaders in positions of power and influence, we trusted them to make better decisions on our behalf, but they have betrayed the trust. Our position on BBI and the Constitutional Amendment Bill, we strongly oppose the proposed mutilation of the 2010 Constitution to suit selfish and elitist political interest. It is instructive to note that the Constitution of 2010 is a document which was achieved through a rigorous struggle, shedding of blood, loss of lives through decades of activism. We cannot, therefore, as young people who are both the present and the future of this nation, allow the Constitution to be amended at the whims of two individuals who secretly sat somewhere and decided that we have a non-existent constitutional moment. In respect of patriots who paid the ultimate price in order for us as a nation to get the 2010 Katiba, we are demanding the current political leadership to fully implement the 2010 Constitution and shelve the BBI bravado that even if it tastes like quinine, we must swallow it. We refuse that. From the onset, the genesis of this clamor for constitutional change is the handshake, a two-person decision that is shrouded in mystery as the rest of major political players, the political actors, the church, and the civil society were left out in this all-important decision. That in itself has provided a toxic background and distrust around the BBI and the constitutional changes. There has been no goodwill and a collective, inclusive, robust national debate around the constitutional changes. The whole process has been a two-person affair at the behest of millions of Kenyans. We are appalled by the deceitful nature and blatant shameless lies BBI proponents are using to hoodwink Kenyans into a colossal constitutional mistake. BBI is an elitist political document intended to achieve certain political interest. That is why the proponents are struggling to convince Kenyans and have resorted to strong arm tactics of coercion and threats. Indeed, this is what is referred to in Kiswahili proverb, chema cha jiuza, kibaya cha jitembeza. The BBI proponents use the mantra, the proponents of this BBI mantra do not end with the coercion circus. They have also mastered the art of seduction using the carrot and stick approach. We see through the insidious schemes. These are the following lies we must demystify and deconstruct convincingly to reject the BBI fraud. 1. elusive prosperity and unity. While we claim BBI will foster unity and shared prosperity, the process has been opaque, non-participatory, and a choreographed charade and divisive. There has been no robust national debate involving all actors to chart the way forward as a nation. Parts of the country are still shut out economically, the sugar belt, the cotton regions, the wheat and the maize farming regions, without a guaranteed minimum return formula and no economic investment blueprint in the future. We have to invest heavily in the agricultural economy to provide a baseline for a more export-oriented economy that will provide readily raw materials for a manufacturing, heavy industry, value-add economy. Then they must diversify further into a service economy. More monies to the county hoax. According to Article 255, we do not need a referendum to devolve more monies to the counties. Pursuant to Article 203, Section 2, which gives the minimum threshold of equitable revenue to be allocated to the counties at 15% with no limit cap. So even if we accept it at 35, as they say in the BBI bill, we have seen no goodwill from the Jubilee regime in timely disbursement to the counties. Counties are constantly cash-strapped. There's no fiscal responsibility and accountability at the national and the county governments in prudent utilization of the allocated monies to socially transform the lives of Kenyans. We are also cognizant of the cash-strapped government. It's broke and on a borrowing spree. We wonder in pity, where will the 750 billion to be allocated to counties if BBI passes come from, when the government is currently struggling with remitting 300 billion currently as we speak. It's an empty ruse. Inclusivity. Expanding the executive to suit the big five tribes is the gravest manifestation of politics of exclusion, tribal politics, and political patronage. Kenya has 44 tribes. How inclusive is the proposed system that only gives 5 tribes and leaves the rest? The bill vests more power in the presidency with no direct lines of accountability, have a PM that has no direct executive decision-making role in government policy decision. Instead, the bill introduces a mongrel presidential quasi-parliamentary system existing nowhere in the world. We have no 10 years to petri dish a system that we already know and we already see has flawed structures. We must, however, strive to unite, heal, love one another as Kenyans, be bonded in our collective humanity, see ourselves in each other, feel the pain and suffering of each other, blur the tribal lines as we strive to create a more perfect union anchored in the love of God and country above everything else. So basically what we are saying is we are rejecting the hoax that they're saying that the BBI amendment bill, includes everybody else. But yet, what we need to be more focused on is how do we find a more united value system that anybody can be the president regardless of their tribe. But what we'll look for is what that person is going to bring on the table and what the agenda and their manifesto is in changing the lives of Kenyans. Improved representation. It's a mirage. Kenyans are already burdened by the huge government wage bill and overrepresented according to the 2010 Auditor General report. Furthermore, there's no correlation between number of MPs and improved lives of Kenyans. More MPs, senators have no correlation to competent, compassionate, visionary, and inspirational leadership Kenyans are yearning for. Therefore, we reject the new additions in the legislature. Separation of power. Separation of power is a fundamental principle of good governance. Checks and balances provide efficient functioning of government in service delivery. The introduction of judiciary ombudsman is an insidious weakening and eventual crippling of the judicial arm of government, and we hear one today. In the absence of rule of law, anarchy, chaos, and destruction is inevitable. Minority voices. The role of women have been diminished and gravely reduced in the amendment bill. Youth and other minority voices largely ignored and their core issues not addressed. We welcome the four-year HELB moratoriums reprieve, but we'd rather the government completely write off HELB loans from those comrades who have graduated by 2017. On tax breaks, we welcome the move. However, we strongly urge better fiscal responsibility, economic policy decisions, and focus on priority areas that can have a multiplier effect in jobs creation and economic boom. Business can only thrive in a robust, vibrant economy. We want an innovation and startup fund where young people can apply for seed capital and business incubation centers. We also strongly urge the startup fund to only be led at the board and its leadership by youths under the age of 40. As we conclude, we urge all youths to mobilize and organize towards a no vote in the upcoming inevitable referendum. We will be conducting a countrywide civic education on BBI contents, voter education on referendum process, and voting through town halls and barazas with youths in all the 47 counties. We will also mount an aggressive no campaign against the BBI bill led by youth leaders drawn across the different political persuasions from all the 47 counties. We welcome all those interested to join us, potential partners, financial partners, and development partners who will help us move this all-important agenda forward. Our democracy depends on it. Our clarion call is, for the spirit of constitutionalism, BBI must fall. For the rule of law, BBI must fall. For the future of this nation to be protected, BBI must fall. For the future of young people, women, and other vulnerable groups to be safeguarded, BBI must fall.
As we come to close of this press statement today,